Welcome back to Developing for Dollars. My name is Mark Vasilius. We are down, literally, in the dirt at the tunnel for the new GO train station. We are here with Richard Ford, and we're going to be talking about how a tunnel like this, first of all, is an investment for the city, but we're also going to hopefully see a return on our investment. There's many, many reasons why, and a tunnel like this is an important part of the vision, which is what we talk about. We need to talk about the vision of where it started from, and then the end result is going to be the money. So Richard, the vision that we started here with a tunnel, like who would have thought of putting a tunnel from Gowan Street? For all of us that live in Barrie, we kind of know Gowan Street has a bit of a bad reputation, but here we are, we're spending $3 million roughly on putting a tunnel to Gowan Street.
Certainly, in terms of the vision, Mark, what we're really looking at here is connecting communities and connecting neighborhoods to the city center. And so what we have here is we had literally the rail being a barrier, if you will, between the Allandale community and the waterfront and vice versa. And so now we're going to literally have people that will be able to cross under the tracks, come to this side and either continue on down to the waterfront or to go to the GO rail platform to catch a train and so forth. So when we look at an investment, that's part of it, connecting communities to our city center and the waterfront.
So what we have happening on Gowan Street in terms of, let's say real estate values and a development like this.
The first step was to really put the infrastructure in place. So we needed to upgrade a number of things in terms of drainage had to be improved.
Okay.
The water mains, storms, sanitary sewer, all had to be improved. Put in proper sidewalks and curb and gutter. And basically what that does is that sets the framework or the stage for development and those that are interested in seeing what opportunities there for them. And so what you will likely see in the next number of years is you will see some redevelopment happening on the Gowan Street property, because really when you're looking at it, we're looking at creating a community in the downtown,
right,
which is going to bring, when our growth is going to, Barrie's going to grow to 210,000 population by 2031.
Right.
And 40% of that growth will happen within what's called the built boundary. And a key part of that is the downtown. So we're making way for a lot of people that are going to come into the downtown. They're going to need places to live and so forth. So you're going to see intensification happening within the downtown.
So if I was an investor, we use a term called ripple effect. Would be buying in this general area, like as with the price, could you say that values are going to be going up because of infrastructure, or is it a combination of things? Like what creates the ripple effect for prices of real estate values to go up?
I think what it is basically setting I'll use a builder's term, building a foundation. What we're doing is we're building a foundation for a community here in terms of the Allandale community and the waterfront community. So really when the public sector invests in infrastructure and makes things ready, investment readiness is really the word I would use, then that allows for the development community to really assess what is their opportunity and how can they play a role in building a community.
Sure. So this tunnel so far, it's going to be strictly a walk-through tunnel. We're looking at roughly $3 million of an investment that we're going to see being paid back in how
Sure. We're fortunate. We have the federal government through MP Patrick Brown and the provincial government through MPP Eileen Carroll brought funds towards the GO station as well as the pedestrian tunnel.
Sure.
And so we're going to see obviously a return on that investment in terms of this area, in terms of one-time revenues, in terms of building permits, development charges, but ongoing tax assessment. And I think that's one of the key things is how do you create value in terms of future tax assessment, because that's really where revenues will come from.
Sure. So we're just going to finish up here. We're going to go to the other side. There's two parts of this project. One is the tunnel. The other is going to be the restoration and the building of the Allandale station. So we're going to head over now to the Allandale station, say goodbye to the tunnel for now. And we're now at the historic Allandale station. We're taking a look right inside, and as I look around, I can see woodworking that I don't think I've ever seen in my life. We're here with Richard Ford. We're going to be talking a little bit about the values, the money that the city basically is investing. Mm-hmm. You're basically the developer for this project. You're going to be restoring this building. You're going to be intensifying its use. Can you explain a little bit how, as an investor, the city is going to be getting a return on taking an old building like this that was really falling down and making us money? Because it's all about the money.
I think that's a great term, investor. I mean, what we're really looking at is the council has committed $4.5 million towards the base building restoration. So we knew that the train station buildings, if we hadn't taken action sooner than later, that they were falling in real state of disrepair. So basically, we're seeing the work being undertaken to bring us back to a point in time of around 1905 when the train station buildings themselves were built. Rail has a long history in Barrie and Allandale. Predates Confederation, for that matter.
Predates my birthday.
I think it predates your birthday. I'd have to check your birth certificate, but close. And not only that, but the interesting part is this formed a revitalization and community building effort for the community of Allandale back in the early part of 1905.
And
So what we're going to be doing is we're going to be looking at, we're going to be engaging the market to find out what are the market opportunities for programming of the building itself, and because we have 3 buildings here, total of 10,000 square feet.
Sorry to interrupt, but you mean programming. What do you mean by programming the building?
What are the uses? What uses do we see for the buildings? What does the community see for the building? What will the market deliver in terms of a use for the building? Because obviously we want to have tenants, maybe a long-term lease, that kind of thing that helps generate revenue to be able to put back into ongoing maintenance for the train station.
Are we doing a build it and they will come type of thing, or do we have a good idea of what we want to put in? Obviously, being a train station, there's lots of retail, there's lots of other opportunities.
Office, cultural, there's a whole host of opportunities that can come into this train station, the buildings themselves. There are 3 buildings. So we tested the market just to find out what was the market telling us. They basically said, you need to figure out what's happening for the balance of the site. Once you have that figured out, then they will know how this particular building and the 3 buildings would fit into an overall vision for that site.
Well, let me ask you though, in terms of a building and from a developer standpoint, wouldn't knocking this building down have been a more economic way to get the result of having a place for retail?
I think it depends how you measure economics. If you measure economics strictly on a cost basis, then you might look at it that way. But when we look at the history of Barrie and the community and how it's developed and how it's grown, it's grown to the point where it recognizes that its history is fundamental to where it is going in the future. And so when a community recognizes its history, that's an important step in its growth.
But putting a dollar figure...
It's difficult to do, Mark, because look, I could ask you, is it worth investing $8 million in 1990 to buy the rail between Barrie and Bradford? Well, at the time, you might argue that, no, it wasn't, how can we justify $8 million? Well, today, this rail and these lands are going to form a second GO station. It's an important building block to the whole revitalization effort for the downtown. And so how do you translate that into economic value?
I understand that, but in terms of from strictly an investment standpoint, which is really kind of like what we're talking about, is in terms of economy, I understand a value for history, but how do we put a dollar figure on it so that we as the public, as the people of Barrie say, wow, we're getting a return on investment for a historic building.
And this is going to be a key part of the development of the Allandale station lands itself. And so if we can generate, say, 200,000 square feet of development on the site, that's going to generate in the order close to $1 million of taxes a year. So there's tax increases that you didn't have before. You're going to get one-time development charges in the order of $4 to $5 million. You're going to have building permit revenue, you're going to have cash in lieu for parkland. Those kind of one-time revenue streams will come in, plus the ongoing...
All right, and you're talking about tax revenues, you're talking about things that I want to get to, which is the return on investment. We're going to be right back with Developing $4 with Mark Vasilius.